Northwest Georgia. Welcome to your weather on North Georgia Television. Today, we have possible thunderstorms, a high around 81, winds are light and variable, and a chance of rain is at 90%. And now for a look around the region. Calhoun at 71 this morning, expect a midday temp of 74 and an afternoon high of 81. Chatsworth starting at 70, 75 at midday, a high of 81, and chance of rain is at 90%. Chickamauga has 71 this morning, expect a midday temp of 74 with showers, and 80 in the evening with scattered thunderstorms. Cahata 70, warming up to 74 by noon, then 79 for the high with showers and thunderstorms. Dalton starting at 70 and rainy, 74 at noon and possible thunderstorms, high up around 81. Fairmount 71 this morning, rising to 74 with scattered thunderstorms and a high of 80. Fort Oglethorpe at 71 this morning with a 90% chance of rain, 74 expected by midday and up to 79 around 4. Lafayette had 70 this morning, up to 73 by midday, 80s is expected afternoon high. Ringgold 71 this morning, expected noon temp of 74 and a 90% chance of rain, a high of 80 this afternoon. And now for your 7-day forecast. Saturday, scattered thunderstorms in the morning, more widespread in the afternoon. A high of 79 and a chance of rain is at 100%. Locally, heavy rainfall is possible. Sunday, scattered thunderstorms all day and a high of 80. Next Monday, more storms with a high of 82 and a low of 64. Tuesday, partly cloudy with a high of 83 and a low of 62. Wednesday, scattered clouds with a possibility of isolated thunderstorms during the afternoon, a high of 84. Thursday, mostly sunny with a high of 84. And Friday, mostly sunny skies with a high of 87, winds light and variable. And that is your weather forecast. Whatever the weather, North Georgia Television hopes you have a blessed and beautiful day. And now for the local obituaries. O.C. Jolly, age 87. Mr. O.C. Jolly of Ringgold, Georgia, passed away at home on June 1st. A visitation will be held 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on June 8th at Ringgold First Baptist Church, followed by funeral service at 3 with Reverend Eric Kennedy officiating. Arrangements by Heritage Funeral Home, Battlefield Parkway. Lindsay Ann Tinker, age 17. Lindsay Ann Tinker, age 17, of Old Fort, Tennessee, departed this life and entered into rest Friday, May 31st at Erlanger Medical Center. Service to celebrate the life of Lindsay will be held 11 a.m. Saturday, June 8th from Benton United Methodist Church with Reverend Dave Whaley officiating. Arrangements by Ponders Brennan Chapel, Chattanooga, Tennessee. Mr. Raymond Ray Harden, aged 75. Raymond Harden of Dalton, Georgia, departed this life Monday morning, June 3rd at Wooddale Healthcare. The family will receive friends at the funeral home on Friday, June 7th from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. Arrangements will be by Ponders Melrose Chapel. Mr. Jackie Ray Robinson, age 71. Jackie Robinson of Cahata, Georgia, passed away Tuesday, June 4th. Arrangements will be announced at a later date by Willis Funeral Home in Dalton, Georgia. Joseph Anthony Martinenza, age 79. Joseph Martinenza of Calhoun passed away on Tuesday, June 4th at Hamilton Medical Center in Dalton. Complete arrangements will be announced later by Thomas Funeral Home. Miss Doris Ann Banks, age 63. Doris Banks of Dalton, Georgia, passed away on Saturday, June 1st. Services will be on Saturday, June 8th at 1 p.m. at the chapel of Bishop Claude Jones, the eulogist. She will lie in the state funeral home on Friday after 11 a.m. The family will receive friends on Friday evening at the funeral home from 5 to 7 p.m. Interment at West Hill Chapel, arrangements by Willis Funeral Home. Mr. Bobby Gene Ramsey, age 84. Bobby Ramsey of Lafayette, Georgia, passed away Tuesday, June 4th. Funeral service will be held on Friday, June 7th at 2 p.m. at the Cove Road Church of God. Isaiah Escobar Reynoso, age 4. Isaiah Reynoso passed away June 3rd. Funeral service for Isaiah will be Friday, June 7th at 11 a.m. from the chapel of Sean Chapman Funeral Home. Family will receive friends at 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Interment will be at Center Valley Cemetery. Robin Lynn Adams, age 52. Robin Adams of Rossville passed away on Sunday, June 2nd. Funeral service celebrating the life of Miss Adams will take place 2 p.m. Wednesday, June 12th at the Funeral Home Chapel with Daniel Sargent officiating. Family will receive friends 2 hours before the service on June 12th at Heritage Funeral Home and Crematory, Battlefield Park. Patsy Evans Harris, age 76. Patsy Harris of Calhoun left this earthly home to be with her Lord on Tuesday afternoon, June 4th. A celebration of life will be held Sunday, June 9th at 4 p.m. at the Chapel of Thomas Funeral Home with Reverend Greg Bergen officiating. Family will receive friends on Sunday from 2 p.m. until the service hour at 4. Thomas Funeral Home oversees the arrangements. Those are your local obituaries. Stay tuned for your local news.
Good morning, Northwest Georgia. I'm Aaron Scott.
And I'm Adam Scott.
And welcome to your local news. We're your news covering Whitfield, Murray, Gordon, Walker, and Catoosa counties. Thanks for joining us. Coming up in the news today, Dalton-based Georgia Army National Guard to return from Afghanistan, 3 local students named Players of the Year, a message from ATC for America, Whitfield County Public Works Officer Free Millings, police warn of thieves breaking into cars, county developing guidelines for encrypted radio use, and area events.
Yeah, we'll just jump right into it. First up, members of a Dalton-based Georgia Army National Guard unit will be returning from Afghanistan ahead of schedule, said a report by Charles Oliver of the Daily Citizen News. A Georgia National Guard spokesman said Thursday that the 48th Infantry Brigade combat team of the Georgia Army National Guard will be returning from Afghanistan later this month. They will start coming back in mid-June through mid-July, said Desiree Bamba, Media Relations Coordinator for the Georgia National Guard. The 48th Brigade includes the Dalton-based Charlie Troop, formerly Troop C-1 to 108th Cavalry. The wives and mothers are very happy, very excited, said Charlie. Chair of Charlie Troop's Family Readiness Group, all the family members can't wait to have them back. The approximately 1,900 soldiers of the 48th Brigade arrived in Afghanistan in January for what was supposed to be a 9-month deployment. Bamba said a Winder-based battalion will remain in Afghanistan through October, training Afghanistan forces. Dalton gave Charlie Troop a big send-off in November of 2018 when approximately 100 members of the troop left for Fort Stewart for training before heading to Afghanistan. Friends, family, veterans, and others packed Rockbridge Community Church for a ceremony, followed by a reception at the unit's armory on West Crawford Street. Rosenquist said that there will be a welcome home ceremony after the troops return. I think that's awesome. I mean, these guys have to be ready to get home, you know?
Oh, I know. I would most definitely be ready to get home, and I'm sure there's a ton of families happy to see everybody.
God bless them.
Next up, Emily Mole of the Daily Citizen News recently reported that the area athletes were named High School Players of the Year for their respective sports in a recent article by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Dalton High Schoolers Omar Hernandez, Tony Saldana were named AJC Boys Soccer Players of the Year after leading the Catamounts to their 5th state title in the program's history and first since 2015. Hernandez led the team with 16 goals and 17 assists, while Saldana added 11 goals and 13 assists to their senior duo, aided Dalton to a Class 6A state championship with a perfect 23-0 record and a #1 ranking by multiple sources, including nationally by USA Today. Each is committed to play this summer with Dalton's first-year team, the Red Wolves, while Hernandez signed to play collegiately at Wake Forest University in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and Saldana will play at Carson-Newman University in Jefferson City, Tennessee. After winning her second consecutive Class 3A state championship, Maury County senior Tori Owens was named the AJC Girls Golf Player of the Year. Owens defeated her closest opponent by 7 strokes to claim the title this year, and she won each of the 4 area tournaments during her high school career. She will play golf in college at Kennesaw State University, and that's awesome for the state of Dalton. We love when these kids are putting us on the map, and we're really looking forward to seeing what these kids do in the future.
Yeah, it's crazy how these kids, I mean, they're so much better than they used to be, because we look back when we were their age, and we could never even imagine being this good because of the amount of time they're putting into these things that is insane.
When it comes to athletics, kids are evolving.
They are. I mean, it's just a fact. Like I said, if you look back, you would just see how crazy it is. We would, back at our age, we could never dream of the things these kids are doing.
Well, there's more viable training available these days.
Much more viable, and that's a fact. Next up, now a message from ACT for America. 75 years ago this week, on June 6, 1944, Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy in Nazi-occupied France during World War II. Forever reshaping the progress of the war and history during the D-Day operation, thousands of ships, planes, and soldiers from the United States, Britain, and Canada surprised Nazi forces and recaptured Normandy in one of the most important dates in the world history. More than 4,000 Allied soldiers, most of them younger than 20 years old, died during this invasion. The brave soldiers who fought in World War II are often considered to be part of the greatest generation in the United States history. They laid their lives on the line to protect the freedom and liberty of millions. Their sacrifice represented the best of us, and their dedication to liberty and freedom was unparalleled. Now more than ever, we must remember their bravery and the price they paid for the liberties we hold dear. Our country is at a turning point, and it's more important than ever to remain proud to be an American and to remain willing and able to fight for it. ACT for America asks that you let the 7th anniversary of D-Day serve as a reminder to always stay vigilant in the fight for freedom at both home and abroad.
Next up, if you're a resident of Whitfield County and you'd like some free millings, the Public Works Department might be able to help you. This futuristic-looking machine looks as if it would be right at home on the surface of the moon, but it's actually Whitfield County's Public Works milling machine in operation last week on Keiths Mill Road. In use for about a year, the 7-foot-wide machine with 200 sharp metal teeth rotating underneath has been grinding off the top layer of old asphalt and county roads and shooting the resulting scrap metals up a conveyor belt into dump trucks waiting below. The process keeps asphalt from getting thicker each time a road is repaved, preventing problems for homeowners as they pull out of their driveways. The process also helps prevent reflective cracking that occurs when pavement is applied over existing cracks in the road. The byproduct of the milling process, known appropriately enough as millings, is basically ground up asphalt, which can be repurposed for use on driveways, roads, and parking lots. The millings are available free to Whitfield County residents living close to where the machine is being used. Residents interested in applying for millings or future projects can request a right to entry or by emailing pwworkorder@whitfieldcounty.georgia.com or stop by the office at 170 Gillespie Drive. Residents may also find the form at www.whitfieldcountygeorgia.com under the Public Works tab, or you can call 706-278-7167 and provide a fax number. Do please keep in mind that it is not guaranteed that a resident receives millings when requested. It may be months or years before we are working close to a requested location. Public Works Director Dwayne Hunt said due to the number of request deliveries, we may be limited to one of the 3 loads in a certain area. Our process to identify those requests that have already been submitted and contact the nearest approved locations first and then work out from the center of the project site. The machine is expected to pay for itself in less than 3 years since the county gets a credit for the milling through the state's local resurfacing program. And, well, it looks like it's about time for a commercial break here at Northwest Georgia Television, and we'll be right back.
First Bank of Calhoun and First Bank of Dalton are proud to serve our communities, providing the products you need plus the personal service you expect from your hometown bank. We offer the latest technology, like customized instant-issue debit cards, InstaPay, and more. And with our experienced First Elite bankers, switching to First Bank has never been easier.
Stop by and see what sets us apart.
First Bank of Calhoun and First Bank of Dalton, your bank for life. Member FDIC.
I am Ron McKinney, pastor of Kinsey Drive Baptist Church in Dalton, Georgia. KDBC has been the birthplace of several Christian organizations. It was the birthplace of Christian Heritage School 30 years ago, and through the Academy of Fine Arts, Labrie Symphonic Orchestra was founded by KDBC members Gene and Betty Lindauer. The ministry of KDBC reaches around the world with the missions of To Every Tribe Ministry, and I was a founding member of North Georgia Fellowship of Christian Athletes in 1992. Majesty is the longest running television program on North Georgia Television. For 28 years, we have faithfully proclaimed the doctrines of grace. Kinsey Drive Baptist Church welcomes you to visit at 2626 Kinsey Drive on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Our website is kinseydrivebaptistchurch.com. To God be all the glory.
Hi, I'm Deborah. So glad to have you as part of our North Georgia Television family. It's been great settling into our new programs. Thank you so much for all your feedback and support. It's a joy to get to be with you. I want to announce a new partnership we have with our Hispanic neighbors. We've lived in community together, and now we're honored to invite them into our television family. I want to introduce you to a special friend, Veronica Estrada. Welcome, Veronica.
Thank you, Deborah. It's a pleasure to be part of the North Georgia Television family. Our goal is to join together our communities.
Yes, and we're working on a bilingual television program with WDNN and DGA. Veronica will be hosting this program, and it will talk about the local news, events, and sports of the surrounding counties.
And we would like to invite the community. We want you to be part of this project that will help us to grow together.
Yes, the program will be aired Wednesday and Friday, 9:30, 12:30, and 7:30. Now Veronica is going to speak directly to our Hispanic neighbors.
Estoy muy emocionada de informarles que ahora ya seremos parte de la televisora del norte de Georgia. Muy pronto estaremos iniciando un programa bilingüe de televisión que tendrá noticias, deportes, temas y eventos que pasan alrededor de la comunidad de los condados de Whitfield, Gordon, Walker, Catoosa y Murray. Nosotros queremos que usted sea parte de este proyecto porque queremos mantenerlos informados para que se enteren de lo que está pasando en la comunidad y así podamos crecer juntos. El programa será transmitido todos los miércoles y viernes a las 9:30 de la mañana, 12:30 del mediodía, 7:30 de la tarde. Síganos en nuestras redes sociales en Instagram y regálenos un like en Facebook o visite wdnntv.com. Muchísimas gracias por todo su apoyo y que mi Dios me los bendiga.
Thank you so much for sharing, Veronica, and I look forward to all that's in store as we join our communities together. And thank you for your support, and God bless you.
back, everyone. I hope everybody had a nice little commercial break. Next up, Chris Whitfield of the Daily Citizen News reported that several vehicles were robbed of items Tuesday night in a Dalton neighborhood of Dugap Road, leading police to remind people to secure their vehicles before turning in for the night. According to Lieutenant Ricky Long with the Dalton Police Department, reports started coming in shortly after 7 a.m. on Wednesday of several robberies on Westover Place. Long said 5 cars were entered and all of the cars were unlocked and there were no forced entries. Long said there was not a complete list of items missing as reports were still being finalized Wednesday afternoon, but one handgun was reported missing. Detective Brian Shirley said thieves, unfortunately, take advantage of those who leave their cars unlocked. We see that a lot, Shirley said. You never want to blame the victim, but one thing you can do to protect yourself is lock your car doors. In all of the cases this morning, the cars were unlocked. What you have is just quietly going through a neighborhood and checking doorknobs. It is very unfortunate, Shirley said. Officers went door to door in the complex of condominiums and warned people to keep their cars locked. But there were no witnesses to any of those robberies. Hopefully, we will get some video surveillance from someone. We haven't gotten anything yet, Shirley said. There isn't a whole lot to go on. Shirley said these types of robberies in neighborhoods are more common than police would like, but in most cases, the cars are unlocked. Very rarely do you have a smash and grab unless there's a computer or a purse in plain sight. Mainly, robbers don't want to call attention to themselves, so they're just walking through, pulling on handles and hoping to get lucky. Anyone with information on the robberies or any crime tips can call 706-278-9085. And this is actually crazy to me. I know a guy who was actually in that robbery. One of our good friends.
One of our great friends was actually a victim of this. I'm sure the police are doing everything that they can to locate these individuals.
Yeah, and it's hard for these guys to ever figure out who stole these things because there's not really any way to know.
Well, it is, and when it gets down to subdivision security, there's never any cameras there.
There's not, and there's definitely not enough security just locally. I mean, these guys that live in these condominiums, these people would come together and start little groups, you know? I mean, just somebody doesn't work that day, 12 o'clock, they go driving around.
Casual. Next up, after Varnell Police Chief Lyle Grant provided county-owned encrypted radio to a private business, Whitfield County Emergency Management Director Claude Craig said he is developing guidelines for the use of those radios by the county's municipalities. Story by Chris Whitfield of the Daily Citizen News. Craig said they are priority public safety radios, and that is all they are used to be. They are not to be used for any private use whatsoever. Grant's providing a radio. Bob Cummings, owner of Bob's Record Service, is Dalton by investigated first for the Whitfield County Sheriff's Office and then to Georgia Bureau of Investigation. District Attorney Bert Poston presented evidence to a grand jury concerning possible felony theft by taking, but this grand jury chose not to indict Grant. One of the things cited by Poston as particularly significant was that there was no policy concerning the radios among the county and the cities of Cohutta, Tunnel Hill, and Varnell. There was not a memorandum of understanding of integration agreement between the entities. Poston said that this is something that the property should be looked into. County Board of Commissioners Chairman Lyle Lautner said the guidelines will establish rules that should have been understood when the radios were given to the police departments of the 3 municipalities. I don't think that in anyone's imagination that anyone thought one of those expensive radios would have been given away to anyone, Lautner said. Absolutely, those radios were just to be used for public safety agencies. All of the board is aware of the issue, and you would think people would think twice before loaning out a radio. Grant said after the investigations began that Bob's Record Service is the only record service on call for our city when wrecks occur.
In March, Grant said he didn't intend to violate any laws or policies. He said, I only intend to benefit the city of Varnell. When we would have an accident, he would be alerted to be a little bit quicker. He would hear when we have a wreck here in Varnell and dispatch a wrecker here a little bit quicker. The radios were paid for Whitfield County as a part of an upgrade to all digital communication system for law enforcement personnel, firefighters, and other first responders. The system was paid for with money from a special purpose local option sales tax, the SPLOST. Each radio is valued at more than $5,000. This was a Tier 1 project for the county under the SPLOST, and those radios belong to Whitfield County, Commissioner Arnold Brooker said. They are law enforcement and firefighter and government issue. We want to put it in writing that there is no question of their use. Craig said he will have an intergovernmental agreement for the commissioners to approve as quickly as possible. He said when the use of the radio by the Record Service became known, there was a full accounting of other radios in use by agencies outside of the county. I touched base with Cohutta and Tunnel Hill and made sure they are keeping up with all of their stuff, Craig said. There has been no other unauthorized use that has been brought to my attention. We'll have the agreements that explain that the radios are for the use of the cities, but there are things you can and can't do with them. It was kind of an unstated knowledge that we were on a private public safety communication system, and this is what we will use for them, he said. If I had it to go over again, I would have implemented an IGA intergovernmental agreement at that time. I didn't deem it necessary, and we haven't had any issues except for this time with this one agency.
You know, it's always crazy, you know, when you think someone that has made an oath to uphold and protect the citizens of Dalton would be a little more careful.
I'm not surprised.
No, me either. And now for other upcoming area events and bulletins. This weekend, a native of Dalton now living in New York will perform To Free a Mockingbird at the Atlanta Fringe Festival this weekend. Written and performed by Grace Akey, To Free a Mockingbird is a story for anyone who's moved away from a small town, for anyone who has lost someone, or for anyone who has been surprised by a secret that everyone else knew about. Grace is a Japanese-American Southerner who at 22 discovered that she has bipolar II disorder, that she had been sexually abused, and that her father was an alcoholic, all while dealing with his and her grandmother's estate after their deaths. This is her story and maybe yours too. To Free a Mockingbird explores Grace's father's death through his funeral intercut with her mother's immigration story to the United States, woven in with growing up as a mixed kid in the Deep South. It's a raw mix of honest dialogue and stand-up, all under an hour. And spoiler alert, at this point, her father throws her younger brother through a glass window. He also has an affair with his secretary. The Atlanta Fringe Festival is a 7-day theater binge. To Free a Mockingbird happens Friday, June 7th at 9:30 p.m., Saturday, June 8th at 2 p.m. and 8 p.m., and Sunday, June 9th at 3:30 p.m. Tickets are $10, and the festival is located at 1105 Euclid Avenue, Northeast in Atlanta.
That sounds great. We'll have to check that out ourselves. Next up, Divorce, Southern Style, opens at Dalton Little Theater tonight and will continue with 5 more shows through June 15th. Written by Jennifer Jarrett, directed by Ronald King, and produced through a special arrangement with the Dramatists Play Service. Divorce Southern Style is a fast-paced, wildly funny farce centering on the zany schemes of a middle-aged divorcee who decides that the time is right to get back together with her ex-husband. Divorced for 15 years and running low on cash, Eleanor Bander decides a reconciliation with her ex-husband, whose second wife died the year before, is her best hope. To lure him with striking range, she tells him that their daughter is about to be married, hinting that it is a forced situation when the truth is the daughter is merely engaged again. For the 5th time to her long-standing fiancé, the ex-husband, Walter, not only arrives but brings along his current flame, a former classmate who was Eleanor's competition from high school days. As the plot thickens, which it does with growing hilarity, Eleanor's friends and neighbors become involved in the action, culminating in a surprise birthday party where the truth at last comes out. Walter is prepared to forgive and forget and falls easily into Eleanor's lap, so easily in fact that Eleanor is the one who now has second thoughts, deciding that it is better, after all, to stay single and broke than resume the bickering and drove her away from Walter in the first place. Visit www.daltonlittletheater.com for more information or to purchase tickets. I mean, that seems like it's going to be a good play.
No, I mean, both of these things sound exciting, and we've known Grace for years, so we're all proud of her. And next up, the next play sounds very exciting.
It does. It sounds like some good events, and it's good that it's local. We'll keep everything local.
We love that. Next up, we have the Creative Arts Guild in Dalton, and they will celebrate its 6th annual Low Country Boil Summer Celebration and Fundraiser on Saturday, June 8th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Low Country Boil is a fun, lighthearted welcome to summer event at the Creative Arts Guild Spiegel Pavilion, located at 520 West Wall Street, where everyone can enjoy great food and delicious beverages, including craft beer, a sangria bar, lemonade, tea, and dancing. All right, it looks like we're running out of time here at WNN this morning. And remember, guys, above all,
stay classy.